Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs, and one hungry dad who decided to eat all their houses.
Let's get saucy.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Go.
Go. All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Hey, Chew Crew. We are in Mount Vernon, Indiana at the legendary Hawg N Sauce Barbecue. And tonight we are staring down the beast, the myth, the agricultural event known as the Hogzilla Trough Challenge. And when I say trough, I mean trough. This isn't a plate, this isn't a platter, this is a livestock presentation. This challenge features 3 related but completely distinct potato-based masterpieces from their extensive and dangerously delectable menu. The Chip-A-Hog, the Ida Fry, and the Ida Hog. 3 forms of the humble, versatile potato, elevated to barbecue royalty. Each one topped with bacon, aka meat candy, melty cheddar jack cheese, fresh chives, cool creamy sour cream, and then the crown jewel, a mountain, a full pound plus of succulent hand-pulled pork absolutely slathered in their signature barbecue sauce. I could smell the smoke before it even hit the table. Fun fact, the word barbecue comes from the Caribbean word barbacoa, meaning meat slowly cooked over wood. Low and slow, that's the magic. How you turn tough cuts into buttery, smoky perfection. And this pork clearly spent some quality time in the smoker. Now, the record for this challenge is held by the legendary Brandon Clark, also known as the Garbage Disposal. He destroyed this challenge at a blistering 3 minutes 31 seconds. Now, I had a full hour, and I decided I wasn't about to risk jaw implosion trying to shave seconds off of that record. Tonight, we savor, at least by my standards of savoring. Now, strategy. I didn't fully map it out until that evening when I sat down with my chief eating strategist, Hungry Henry. He proposed we approach this challenge kind of like the 3 little pigs. Start with the House of Straw, the Chip-A-Hog, those crunchy kettle-style chips, light but crispy. Then move on to the House of Sticks, the Ida Fry, structured, sturdy fries. And then finish with the Brick House, the Ida Hog, that absolute unit of a baked potato. Dense, massive, a 2-hander. But before any of that, protein first. Over a pound of that pulled pork sat on top of this trio, and I knew if I didn't eliminate that mountain early, it would eliminate me later, so I went in. Within a minute and 20 seconds, most of that smoky, tender pulled pork was already gone. The bark on the edges, the sweet and tangy sauce soaked into the potatoes below. Every bite had that perfect balance of smoke, salt, and sweetness. How would you attack this trio? Chips first? Fries first? Potato first? Go after the protein? Drop it in the comments and let me know your strategy. Fun barbecue fact. That pink smoke ring you see in properly smoked meats, it's not undercooked, it's chemistry. A reaction between smoke gases and the myoglobin, that's the iron and oxygen binding protein in the meat. It creates that neat ring. Who said science can't be tasty? Now, the Chew Crew rolled deep tonight. Mrs. Chew, saint that she is, kept the kiddos entertained. My 3 little piggies were at the table next to me, and my in-laws were also there, as well as my brother-in-law and his 2 kids. We had a full house, and the restaurant itself, packed. Wall-to-wall energy and platters of savory barbecue moving around the place at lightning speed. And that was on a Tuesday. So there's just something to say about small-town barbecue joints on a busy night that just hits differently. Fun facts about Mount Vernon, it sits right along the Ohio River. Historically, it was a big shipping hub, which meant the town's been moving goods and probably delicious smoked meats for generations. Now, about halfway through the Chip-A-Hog, I crunched down and felt pain. Tooth pain. An occupational hazard of competitive eating, occasionally cracking a tooth. So I had to adjust mid-battle, favoring the right side of my mouth like a wounded warrior. Meanwhile, my jaw fatigue was climbing. Kettle chips are delicious, no doubt, but they fight back. Now, let's talk steaks. If I win, the $37 meal is free. I get a sweet t-shirt, a signed certificate, my picture on their wall of fame, and something I have never earned before, a tall boy can koozie. But if I fail, not only do I pay for the meal, but my face goes on the wall of shame for all eternity. No pressure. I felt strong, but I needed a flavor shift. Enter citrus sauce. I grabbed Hawg N Sauce's citrus barbecue and gave it a generous squeeze. Wow, that orange zest came through immediately. It sliced through the richness of the pork and the cheese, adding a brightness, a sweetness, and a tang that was much appreciated. Pro tip, acid cuts fat. That's why pickles, vinegar sauces, they're barbecue staples. And speaking of barbecue staples, this challenge actually reminded me of another absolute barbecue battle I took on last year. If you've watched the channel for a while, you might remember when I rolled into Tony's Butt Shack to tackle one of the most ridiculous platters of smoked meat I've ever seen. That challenge tipped the scales at 7 pounds of barbecue. We're talking piles of smoky pulled pork, ribs, all your classic barbecue staples that make your eyes light up the second it hits the table. It was one of those meals where the smell alone tells you you're about to get into something serious. 8 minutes in, the last of the chips are down, jaw officially exhausted. The great thing about barbecue in the US is the regional styles vary so wildly. Texas is all about the brisket. The Carolinas love their vinegar sauces. Kansas City leans sweet and smoky. And down here near the Kentucky border, you get influences from everywhere. Mount Vernon may be small, but the flavor is big. And speaking of big, Hawg N Sauce has sold thousands of pounds of pork over the years, serving this river town with serious smokehouse pride. And as of this recording, over 191,000 Idahogs have been sold since April of 2009. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a statistic I am glad to be part of. I would be amiss if I didn't tease my next challenge. I may have went hog wild tonight, but next time, I'm going bananas. After a recent trip Mrs. Chu and I took to Costa Rica, I was inspired. The goal, pure speed, no monkeying around. Hey Chu Crew, for this challenge, we are going bananas. If you need your potassium for the day, you can vicariously get it through all of these bananas I'm about to eat. 3, 2, 1. If you've ever wondered how long it takes to eat enough bananas to supply an entire Mario Kart race, this is the video for you.
Wow, that is starchy.
How fast can I eat 4,000 grams of bananas? We'll unpeel that one soon. At 11 minutes in, the last of the fries are down. The house of sticks has fallen. They were beautifully seasoned fries, soft interior, crispy exterior, classic fry execution. Now, it was time. The Idahog. This baked potato was massive. I lifted it with 2 hands like Simba being presented to the Pride Lands and dove in. The skin had that slight chew, the inside fluffy and steaming, cheddar jack cheese melting into the crevices, paired with sour cream that cooled everything down. Bacon added a crunch and that delicious savory taste you all know and love. And then there were the chives, giving that little pop of freshness, because you can't have a food challenge without healthy vegetables. And of course, that smoky barbecue sauce running through it all. It was a fully loaded finale. At this point, I'm down to those last few forkfuls of this absolutely massive Idaho baked potato. And let me tell you, this thing was a beast. But what a way to finish. That fluffy baked potato packed with melty cheese, cool sour cream, smoky bacon, fresh chives, and that sweet tangy barbecue sauce soaked into every bite. It was incredible. I scraped up the last few bits on that platter, making sure nothing escapes. And that's it. The Hogzilla is officially conquered, another one in the books. However, now the clock has stopped, I'm not done just yet. I still have to sit for 5 minutes to make sure everything stays where it belongs. No victory lap just yet. We're in the cool down period. So we're gonna sit tight, let the food settle, fast forward, and enjoy the moment. And honestly, this is one of my favorite parts. Looking around the table, the kids are here, Mrs. Chu is here, keeping everyone entertained. The whole family rolled out tonight. The restaurant's packed, the energy was amazing, the smell of barbecue floating through the air. It really just made the whole challenge that much more enjoyable. And at 5 minutes, the food has settled, which means we can celebrate. Huge thank you to the amazing staff here at Hawg N Sauce Barbecue for the incredible food and hospitality tonight. Everything from the pulled pork to the loaded potatoes was absolutely delicious, and they made the whole experience a blast. I got to celebrate with the kids, snap a few photos, and add another victory to the Chew Crew Wall of Fame.
There you go. We got everybody involved now.
And with that, we all lived fat and happily ever after. Until next time, stay hungry.